Welcome back to part two. We're talking with Luke Phillips. He's a detectorist in southwest Victoria. He loves hunting gold, coin and treasure. He's right into his detecting. He's also got a detecting site called Dig It Detecting and a YouTube channel. So we'll put the links down below for that. So Luke, well, let's have a chat about your gold hunting. Now, we know over the last 12 months there's been a bit of hype around what you found. Maybe you can sort of hold that up for the viewers if you've got that there. This Luke was the proud finder of this. Talk about this unit.
So, um, well, I'll explain what it is. It's a 30-ounce gold nugget, or a
Ooh,
little bit over 30 ounces.
beautiful.
So it's about 806, or it weighed in about 868 grams.
Is that without
And
rock or with rock?
so that's a complete weight, with rock and gold
Yep.
combined.
Yep.
And there was a bit of speculation that, judging by the look of it, it was all just quartz
Yeah, bring it
and
in a
not
bit
much.
closer and do a bit of an orbital view for the viewers. There you go. You can
Uh,
see
so
this as a live dig. Luke found this live on one of his videos, so definitely tune in and find that. What a beauty.
big chunk of gold right there, or big ear, if you like. It's sort of like
Mm,
an earlobe.
the flat bit.
Yeah, really cool.
Must have been sitting up against a bit of a quartz crystal or something back in the day or something, sort of, where
it,
it was born with the rock.
it may have, yeah. Actual fact, it was sitting that way. So you notice the base is a bit flat,
Yeah,
and it was sitting in the ground that way.
yeah.
And it was about
Wow.
3 foot down. And I sort of scraped off the dirt off the top. You'll see it in the video. And I sort of said, "Oh my God." And I'm not
Absolutely.
religious, not religious in that.
I'm
Just
surprised
a
that's
person.
all you said. Far out.
Yeah, it's. Oh, look, I've got two children. I've had many, many memorable life experiences already. I mean, I'm 38 this year, but I've had so many great life experience memories. This is up there with my kids being born. This is like some of the. It's one
Yeah.
of the most memorable days. I mean, moments that you could ever have. And
Mm.
basically, how it happened was I was starting to get back into the gold. As I said, I started with the gold detecting 8 years ago with the GPX 4500. I transitioned into the coin relic um, uh, hunting there for a while, for many, many years, and then went back to the gold a bit. So I was just sort of starting back out on the gold. I think it was about my seventh or eighth time out, believe it or not. And it was a really windy, wet, wild, rainy day.
Mm.
And I mean wild. We had the wet weather gear on, and it was myself and my father-in-law, Andrew, my partner's father, and we were deliberating on whether to go out or not because it was sideways rain and it was bad.
Mm.
And we sort of said, "Oh, well, what else are we going to do? Just sit at home." So we went out, and I pulled up at an IGA milk bar to grab some lunch and a drink for the day, and I was at that stage in a two-wheel drive car, so it was very hard to access different areas in the bush. Obviously, wet and muddy, and very hard to access. So uh, we were in a two-wheel drive car, and actually said to the father-in-law, "I'm going to save up all my gold and buy a four-wheel drive. I don't care if it takes me 6 months or a year
Yeah.
or 2 years."
Yeah.
3 hours later, I dug that out. So I
There's your
left.
there's your there's your full drive.
So, well, that's essentially what I did was I went and bought a four-wheel drive. Obviously, this is obviously a replica,
Yeah.
and absolutely stunningly done.
Mm.
Um, but I went and bought a four-wheel drive, and that's allowed me to access and further on my detecting, and access more
Yeah.
sites in the bush. A lot of these tracks, I mean, they're billy goat tracks. I mean, you
Yeah.
you would never take a standard car
You
down
can't
them.
go with the two-wheel drive. So what do you find it with? Tell us about the detector you're using and the coils you're using at the moment.
So the machine that I found it with was the MindLab GPX 6000 here.
Beautiful.
Absolutely fantastic machine. I'm sure a lot of people have seen or heard about these machines. And basically, at that stage, this machine was quite new to me. So at that stage, I was actually running the 11-inch standard
Yeah,
coil. So
yeah,
like you said before, not to take anything away from Minelab coils. And as
absolutely.
I said, there's a reason why Minelab team up their detectors with their coils for, through the development and engineering. There's a certain reason why they use them. So this coil with this GPEX 6000 machine found this gold nugget.
So put the so 3 feet. If you just put it on the screen, so if you turn the coil, make it sort of look how deep it was underneath, about 3 feet. Is around about a
Probably.
meter. So that's a pretty good. And was the signal reasonably strong?
Well, in the video, you can actually hear me going over the target, but unfortunately, so how it happened was I found 10 little tiny bits of gold around this miner's hole, and I went for lunch. I worked half of the hole, and I went for lunch, and I thought, well, if I found 10 bits of gold around half of the hole, what's left to find around the other half of the hole? So I had went for lunch and I had worked all this side. And after I come back from lunch, I started at a bit of a tree there, and I worked the rest of the hole. And there was a rotten, fallen down log in sort of fallen down into the miner's hole. And this miner's hole was only 2 or 3 feet deep. It was only very shallow diggings.
It would have been a lot deeper back in the day, but obviously it's sort of filled in.
It depressed in and yeah,
Yeah.
caved in a little bit, but all very shallow diggings in this area. And I mean, if the miner 150 years ago had a dug a meter to the right hand side, he would have. We wouldn't be talking about this
That's
nugget
right.
today.
Yeah.
Um, but basically, I come back from lunch and I worked the other half of the hole,
Mm.
and I had a few false funny signals. And it wasn't until I got up to the log that I got a bit of a signal just beside the log, and I thought, okay. And none of this is on video, which is a shame.
Yeah.
But I scraped back the top. I think I scraped it with my boot first for memory. And then I went over it again, and the signal just got a little bit louder. And all the gold that I'd found in this area, it was sort of within 6 inches deep, not even 3, 4 inches deep.
Mm.
And it was all, half grammars, little, sub grammars,
Tiny
and
bits.
little
Yeah.
0.1s, 0.2s, what have you. Basically, this signal, as I went down that 2 or 3 inches, I expected the gold to pop out, and it didn't. And the signal just kept getting louder and louder and deeper and deeper. And I thought,
Wow.
well, something's going on here. Is either an axe head or a horseshoe
Yeah.
or something.
Your mind doesn't go straight to a 30-ounce nugget sitting there, you beauty, like
No,
you.
not at all. You dream and you
Yeah.
hope, but you
Mm.
don't believe that's what's going to happen. And look, even 24 hours after I dug it out of the ground, I still had to uh, pull it out of its hiding spot and touch it and hold it. And like
Yeah.
I remember the next morning after I woke up and I literally went out to hold it because I thought that yesterday had been a dream.
Dream,
So
yeah, wow.
it's just that rush of emotion and
Yeah.
adrenaline and yeah, and
Amazing, rare find. 30 ounces, super, super rare. 1 ounce piece, super, super rare. Even
yeah,
10 grammars are quite rare, but more common. But, these
they
large
are.
pieces are pretty incredible. And so, with that area, then you've obviously thrashed that a fair bit. And now I see on the machine there, you've got the 9-inch GOLDHAWK.
I
Tell
do.
us a little bit, tell us a little bit about that coil and you're hunting with that at the moment.
Well, quite obviously, I kept on running the 11-inch there for a while. But as soon as I got my hands on this GOLDHAWK coil and started testing it, and I will say at the start, I was a bit, when you have a lot of success with something, the 11-inch coil, it got the 30-ounce nugget, it got half grammars and 0.1s and, 0.04s and like really tiny gold all the way up through to nearly a kilogram worth of gold.
Yeah.
But so I was a bit skeptical to change.
Mm.
If you're on a good thing, why would you change it? But
Yeah, understood.
after running the GOLDHAWK coil and putting it on and trialing it for a few days, I remember being very skeptical at the start.
Mm.
But now, look, unless I was patch hunting, looking for a new area to hunt gold, that'd be the only reason I'd put this standard coil back on.
Yeah, right.
The GOLDHAWK 9-inch coil, I'm not skeptical on it anymore. It lives on my machine.
Yeah.
It basically its depth, its ability to grab all the small gold right through to the bigger pieces is just phenomenal. And I will say that I feel that it actually gets a bit smaller gold than what the 11-inch coil will hit on. I mean, the 11-inch coil is great; it'll hit on just the tiniest bits,
Yeah,
but I think the 9-inch coil's even getting the even smaller bits again.
bit
And
smaller. Yeah,
for some people out there, they might say, well, I'd rather I don't want to waste my time digging those bits that are so
yeah.
small. But look, gold is gold, in my opinion, and
You
it all
wouldn't
adds
put,
up.
I think I've seen it on some of the thing on the socials and that where people have said, well, if you saw a $2 coin in the street, you wouldn't walk past it, you know?
You wouldn't walk past it if you've seen a $5 note laying there on the ground. I mean, most people would pick it up.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
They wouldn't
just
throw
just
it
for
back.
example, I mean, it's very hard to see
It's going to be
probably,
hard to see that one, but
but
oh,
that
yep.
there, uh, I'm not doing a great
Don't
job,
drop
but
it in the carpet.
it's sort of like that. I'm trying to pinch it
Yeah,
and hold it, but
yeah, that's a good one. We can see that.
that there is probably worth about $5 or $10. I mean,
Yeah,
and not only just a monetary value thing. I mean, who doesn't love finding gold?
yeah, there's nothing like it.
It's like no other mineral on earth. But
Yeah.
I mean, as you say, like who wouldn't pick up a $2 coin or a $5 note?
Mm,
And you're out in the bush looking for it. Why
mm,
would you want to walk over it just because of
yeah,
it's not big enough?
yeah. And
And
there's a lot more point ones and point twos out there than there is 1 grammers and 10 grammers. So,
spot
um,
on, spot on. As I always say to people, I mean, when I go out, I can average around about a gram to 2 grams a day
mm,
in a 6 or 7 hour period, and filming and what have you. So it's a pretty productive day, I feel, especially with the gold price at the moment. But all that gold that I bring home on a daily basis, 1 or 2 grams of gold, it's all tiny little bits. I mean, I might bring home 30 little bits to equal up that 1 gram or 2 grams.
yeah, yeah,
As you say, that the chances of you hitting a 1 gram piece or a 2 gram or 10 gram are a lot slimmer than you pulling all these little pieces and picking them up. And gold's
yeah,
heavy. Gold adds up really quick. I mean, it's
yeah,
done with
it
my
sure
weight.
does.
It's up really
And
quick.
you
So
mentioned it
yeah,
before where, you were using the 11-inch and found 10 bits around half a hole and it led you to the 30 ounces. So if you're sort of finding a lot of little bits, there's every potential that can be a multi-gram, multi-ounce nugget close by. You've just got to spend the time and work through it. What do you say that the
hold on,
the um,
hold
the
on.
best characteristics of the 9-inch have been for you? Like, what are you finding the that's helping you find that more gold?
Definitely, like as not all areas, but I mean, being in Victoria here and accessing the gold fields that I access, they're very overgrown, very overgrown. So you're combating, bracken fern and blackberries, falling down sticks and logs and trees and leaves and decomposing mulch, and you've got a lot to combat. Not only does the Coiltek GOLDHAWK coil run a lot more stable, so when you bump up against something, you don't get a lot of that noise come through the
Bump
machine and
sensitivity, yeah, we call it.
bump
Yep.
sensitivity and interrupt the machine.
Yep.
So and that happens quite a lot. And if you're bumping into things out the bush and getting a lot of that bump sensitivity issues, then your machine's running noisy and you'll just struggle to hear the faint tones and the threshold
Can be a bit
change.
annoying for sure.
Um, but yeah, so probably being able to tuck it in and poke it around all these areas in the bush. I
Mm,
mean, once again, the small coils, 9-inch coil. If you had sort of anything a bit bigger, I think you would struggle to get it in to all those areas. I mean, you might gain that little bit more depth maybe by
mm,
running that larger coil.
mm,
But then on the minus side, on the downside, you potentially are not able to swing in a lot of different areas because it's just too
mm,
built up and thick. I mean, if you're up in Maryborough or Denali, the bush is a little bit more open up there. So
mm.
you would probably look at running maybe a larger coil to get that depth because you don't have as much stuff on the ground floor
Yeah, that's
to
right. It's
worry
all
about.
about that sort of open area. The larger the coil, you need more smoothness or less debris over the ground. A lot of areas in Victoria can be quite overgrown, lots of bushes, lots of rocks around. Then WA is obviously a bit more open. You have a lot of open ground as well. So it depends on your region where you are. that you find, what coil is going to be the most suited to it. But also, do you have any preference to round or elliptical when you go detecting?
Not really, to be honest. I mean, I've got the 17-inch elliptical mono there beside us. Look, if it was smaller and elliptical, I probably might use it more.
Mm,
Being the fact that it's 17-inch, like we spoke of before, it's the right tool for the right application, the right job. So
yes.
I don't feel that the 17-inch coil. I just feel it's too big for the application that I'm using at the moment.
Yeah.
Be it that I went up to a different bushland area that was more open or clear, and I was looking for that better depth. Definitely would look at using a larger coil, whether it be
Mm-mm.
round or elliptical. But yeah, I think overall for what I do on a day-to-day basis, and being full-time, I mean, I don't just rely on the gold as my income source of income. There's obviously the YouTube and what have you, and I do a bit of mechanics off the side, as you've
Yep.
seen there before, Trevor. So, but being with the gold, being part of my income, when I drive out into the goldfields, in my head, I'm thinking $50 in fuel, $15 in lunch, unless I make a sandwich that day.
Yep.
But I'm thinking
$10.50
of my
then.
yeah, I'm thinking my expenses. So for
Yep.
me, it's about running something, a combination that is going to give you the best results. Because when I'm out there every day, expending $50 on fuel every trip and putting Ks and wear and tear on my vehicle that I need to account for and budget for, those things basically, I need to be making every day a success and productive.
Mm.
And I would not feel that I could do it as good without this setup right here, the GOLDHAWK
Yeah.
coil, Coiltek coil and the 6000. So,
Yeah,
and
it's great.
like I
Great
said
opportunity. I
before,
don't, at the moment, I think that's the only Coiltek you've got, is it?
correct, yeah, for
Yep.
the gold machines, yeah,
Yep.
correct, yeah,
Yeah, we'll have to
yep, and
maybe change that a little bit soon, Luke. Watch
yeah,
this space. Luke might have another gold hawk in his hands soon for a video. But look, I mean, that 9 inch is getting such a great rap out there. We're really pleased to hear that. Very honored to be making these calls for people finding a lot of gold out there. There's a fair few YouTubers and socials out there that are using the 9 inch gold hawk. They seem to be quite robust and lasting the time. How are you finding the strength of the coil and the balance of the coil on the machine?
amazing too. I will say straight away you can notice the difference in thickness, and for me, I know I know it sounds weird, and to some people watching, they may not get it or quite understand where I'm coming from. But to me, the thickness of that coil and just being sort of small and, as you say, very robust. I mean, I put this through a pretty hard time, as you can see
Yep.
around the tape and whatnot,
Yep.
scraping around through the bush. But I mean, it gets a workout, and the stableness of it. I mean, I'm not talking about how it runs. I'm talking the feel, the ergonomics of it.
Yep. Yep.
It feels great all day. It's durable. It's robust. I mean, I knock up against a rock or a tree or a stick or a branch. There's
Mm.
no effect to the coil. You might get that little bit of bump sensitivity coming in, but all coils, all machines will have that issue. I mean, depending on how hard you accidentally hit something, we all
Correct.
do it.
Yeah, that's right. You can't
But
get rid of some of that vibration through the coil.
that's right. So you're always going to have that little bit, but look for hitting up against a tree or the coil. I do a lot of hunting on steep banks and what have you. So the coil is
Yes.
always sort of maneuvering and up and down and sort of working its way around. And
Yep.
look, it's great. I don't feel it's too hard on the shoulder. I feel it's
Yep.
really durable and robust. And
Great.
apart from all the stuff on the bush floor, I mean, it gets great depth, but in my area, a lot of times you need to almost remove a bit of that to get just
Yeah.
to get that bit more depth.
Yeah, that's right. One
And
inch above is 1 inch less in the ground, isn't it? So
e- exactly right. And there's the thought in the mind of increasing the size of the coil and going a bigger coil, but then the trade-off to that is you could be missing out on all the small stuff, which the Gold Hawk, obviously doesn't miss a thing. So
yeah.
uh, to me, to me, like a large coil, to me, a large coil would only be on the off chance that you found a good patch and you cleaned up all the smaller gold and you would like
Yeah.
to return and try and get a bit more depth.
Yep.
But to me, that the 9-inch Gold Hawk coil lives on my machine
Yep.
because it gets that good depth. and at the same time, it's hitting everything and not missing anything. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's great. So,
and I
for people that are using just the standard coil, do you think having a 9-inch coil or another Goldhawk coil would be a great opportunity for them?
most definitely. I mean, if you've got an area that you're finding gold or like any gold, and be it small gold, uh, go back with a 9-inch Goldhawk Coiltek coil, and I guarantee you, I 100% guarantee you, you'll pick more up.
Yeah,
You'll find a lot more. So
yeah.
yeah,
It's just
and
its ability is a bit different to the standard. Go on.
it is. And I was just going to say, don't think that you're going to get a Coiltek coil and only just go out and find the small stuff either. I
Mm,
mean, the bigger stuff does come with the smaller stuff. So if you had an area and you worked it and you had found some half grammars or, gram gold size nuggets, which is great. Don't think that by putting the Coiltek coil on, you're just going to go back and pick up the little tiny crumbs. You will, but you'll also find everything else that you missed prior,
yeah.
which I've proved once again on many areas. I remember there was a clay bank that I was working off a creek, and I had the 11-inch standard coil on, and I couldn't tell you from memory how much gold I pulled off that hill. It was only a bank. I worked along the bank, probably 15, 20 meters along the bank, and with the 11-inch standard coil, I probably pulled about a half ounce, about probably 15 odd grams off that side of the bank.
Yeah.
I then got my hands on the Coiltek Goldhawk coil, and as a bit of a test, I went back over that bank because I knew just how much gold I'd pulled off it with the 11-inch standard, and I was amazed. My videos are up on YouTube if you
Yeah.
want to check them out, but it was about 12 months ago, and I was amazed at what I'd left behind on that bank.
Mm,
I knew I'd got a lot of gold off it, but I didn't think I'd left that much. And
yeah. Wow.
going back with the Goldhawk, I had, and the 11 just it's great coil, but it just simply
Mm,
missed some of those littler pieces, and
yeah.
so it missed some of those littler pieces at depth where just the 11 didn't hear it. So yeah,
That's right. And the
um,
nine nines, each coil has its own window of gold, its own ability of gold. And if it's just out the range of that coil, a different coil may see it. So that's why going over the ground with another coil type is really important. If you love the 11-inch Minab coil, which is a great coil, and you go, yeah, that's the only one I use, I stick with that, fantastic. But
yep,
if you've got an area where you've found 20, 30, 40 bits and being productive, if you don't go
yep,
over with another coil, you're leaving stuff behind. And if that's
you're
okay with
leaving
you, that's okay with you. But a lot of the times, if you know there's gold there, you won't want to leave it behind. So,
100%. And a lot of these areas too, you go in and find the gold, and there'll be rubbish, lead, and
yeah,
maybe you might get an old miner's chisel or axe or something, but you'll find these areas and you will generally clean up the rubbish, and then the gold comes out, fluently without
yeah,
much rubbish. I mean, there's one site that I know that I've hunted that much. I don't think there's any lead left there because I've picked all the lead up,
yeah,
and every time I go there, you don't find much lead. Generally come out with a fair bit of gold and maybe two or three lead shot, but you're really walking around sniffing, looking for that slight variation for that signal because almost everything else has been picked up. So
yeah.
you really need that coil and the machine and the coil that's going to run stable where you can increase that sensitivity and try and hit on basically everything that's been missed behind.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And yeah,
We certainly love your adventures. You do a great thing for the community. You educate. You talk a lot about the ground you're in and what to look for, and also what signals to listen for. So your education side of your videos is fantastic, and that just helps a lot of new people or more experienced people. Sometimes you're always finding something out that you could do a little bit differently on ground. So we definitely love that. Um, Really, thank you very much, Luke, for joining me today on this Tech Talk, talking about the Coiltek coils and your adventures and that awesome 30 ouncer that you found. We're super happy for you. I'm sure you're very happy, and the family would have been amazed by it. So please go and watch his videos. Dig it detecting. There's a bunch of them there. He releases one a week, two a week sometimes. So there's plenty of them out there. Yep.
yep, yeah. We do one every Friday, but I every Friday night at 7:30 we do a live chat. But I do try and get a secondary video out there if I can, but regularly we do a Friday night video. So
And people can hit, you've got like a Facebook and Instagram as well?
correct. I don't do that much on Instagram. We are on Instagram. Facebook and YouTube are probably the main platforms that we're on,
Right.
but we got the group and we got the Facebook page,
And
both on Facebook.
you also like sometimes tend events and things like that, so people can sort of look out for that through your Facebook.
We do. We attend some of the events that happen yearly, and not only that, we run our own events. So for this year will be our fourth year running,
Great,
and we generally have the event around October, November. It's
great.
held up at Wanyara campgrounds
Yeah,
generally. But look, if you want any details on the group hunt or the weekend away with group members, just jump on Facebook and join the Facebook to get a texting group. And anybody's welcome, all ages. There's no charge. It's all free. The only thing
yeah.
you've got to do is rock up and enjoy.
Rock up
So
and have some fun, and he might have his replica gold nugget there, so you can have a check that out as well whenever he's there. But look, Luke, really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Keep swinging with Coiltek. Keep finding some great gold. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. We really appreciate it. Look out for more tech talks coming soon. Hit Luke up on his channel if you've got any questions. Same with Coiltek. You can hit us up through our website or socials at any time. We're always here to help. Go the Coiltek. Go Luke. Go the Mind Lab equipment. It's going really well. Talk to you again, Luke. Thank you very much.
thank you so much, Trevor and Coiltek.
No worries. Thank you. Thanks, viewers. See you next time.